Welcome to a fireside chat, and I thought I'd make this video because it is a perfect explanation, a testimony that I can give you. As you've probably seen on the shorts, I rebuilt what was a distillery and turned it back into a fireplace. So we did a test firing on Saturday morning and did our first fire Saturday night, and the room filled with smoke. So yesterday, Sunday evening, I tried putting some stones at the side and raising the metal plate. So it's got a slightly lower opening. That was a partial success, and it's like, okay. Still got a problem with smoke billowing out where it shouldn't be, not going up the chimney and filling the room to the point where the eyes were starting to sting. So it's, how do we solve this? The tendency with this reality is to try and think your way out of a problem, or perceive something you see as a problem and try and think your way out of it. But that is not going to give you the easiest and most perfect solution to what you perceive as a challenge, an obstacle, rather than a problem. Just give it to the universe. So this morning, Monday morning, which I think it's the 18th today, into the mind as a sort of picture on the mind's eye was some rusty old sheet metal that's sitting near the entrance. And I thought, save it because it would come in handy. If nothing else, rusty metal seems to be something that rhubarb likes, but there's extra bits there and plenty available. So I picked a piece of sheet metal and basically made like a deflector hood. Bent it, cut it, and fashioned it, and I found the actual grill, which you can see at the front here, wasn't really serving any purpose as such. I can still put a pot in there, of course, to heat up water, and there's the piece on the top, but it's far more efficient. It's just lovely just sitting here in front of it, and the hood has worked, and that was all by not thinking, just allowing things to come into the mind. It's that saying about get over yourself, rather than letting the lower conscious mind, which incidentally is the story of Hansel and Gretel. Hansel is the boy who represents the divine masculine. He is always looking outside trying to solve a problem, but it is Gretel that comes up with the answer in that story. Creativity and home is where the heart is. That's your divine feminine side. So it's really just attuning to yourself. Don't focus on worry of, I haven't got this, I can't do that, or I've got a problem with this. It only becomes a problem if you perceive it that way, or if you start letting the conscious lower minds just try and figure things out. But the results are, by not thinking and just being the observer, allow the things to come to you. We are, after all, magnetic. So the problem has been solved. I still have to seal this. At the moment I've got a damp cloth over the where it still needs sealing, otherwise the smoke would still be coming out. But it's a temporary test fit, and it's worked first time, and it's been a success. So whatever is happening in your life, if you can adopt that same principle of effectively doing a virtual post-it note to the universe and just acknowledging to yourself that your lower self can't solve the things. It will look for problems to try and solve, but there is no problem. The problems are resolved, and it's lovely and warm here now. That is another aspect of this. The timing of constructing this fireplace has coincided perfectly with the evenings being noticeably colder, and there's quite a chill in the air. So I am just in gratitude. All I've had to do is spend time, because time is your currency. And because it is using imagination and it is creating, the results are, well, I'll let them speak for themselves. I can't obviously share the heat, but I'm sure you have enough experience to draw on to know what heat from fire feels like. So that's just a little update, and also hopefully it's given you a new way to overcome things you think are a problem, and that's the key word. Switch off the lower conscious mind thinking. Just be an observer. You've basically got to sort of separate yourself and have a conversation with yourself. Excuse me. I'll give you another example of this. Yesterday, yes, it was Sunday, sorry. Saturday it was discussed about going to Monchique to get a few supplies and then going to this water source, filling up bottles of water. And of course it's somewhere I haven't been before. The lower conscious straight away kicks in with I can't face doing that, and all the feelings of anxiety. So this is where you then have a conversation with yourself, and it's like, well, look, you know what happened when you had anxiety and it would take you 8 hours to get out the front door. And we overcame what at the time I knew was an irrational fear, but in the mind it doesn't make it any less. But you have to do, the best thing is to do things in the moment. So this conversation I had with myself, it's like, yes, we've been in this position before. I acknowledge the feeling of anxiety, but now it's under control. It's like, I feel anxious and I don't want to do this, says the lower conscious. So the higher conscious says, and that is exactly why we're doing it. And there was nothing to fear about it. It was a beautiful experience, but it's only what the lower conscious, because it's something different, doesn't like change. But all you have to do is observe. Observe nature. Take the natural path and just observe nature. They're imperceptible, but with the luxury of linear time to use as a measurement and to compare, because we're in a realm with perceptions of duality, you'll see changes. You'll see that nature is constantly in change. It's renewing itself. It's going through a cycle from birth to death to decay to transformation, which gives new life. Exactly the same as what happens with these physical bodies. I'm sure you've heard the expression about pushing up the daisies. Well, that's because the nutrients in the physical body have been morphed to give life to something else on Earth, because the physical bodies are part of this physical reality. That's why when spirit separates from matter, the remains, which is why they're called remains, remain here. Nothing is added and nothing is taken away. So I hope you appreciate the little update, and hopefully it's given you new ways to look at things. Let me know how you get on if you have things you perceive as obstacles. Try this approach and see if it works for you. That's the only way to know, is to go through an experience and find out for yourself. Otherwise it's just a concept. It's a testimony from my perspective, but to you it will only be a concept unless you have done it for yourself, and then you will know from the experience. So love to you all.